Did you know that a character's believability can make or break a story? In fact, a study found that over 60% of readers or viewers say they lose interest in a story if the characters don't feel real. Shocking, right? We often think a great plot is the key to a good story, but the truth is, people care more about the characters. If your characters aren't believable, no matter how exciting your plot is, your audience won't stick around. Here's the kicker: 80% of readers say they relate better to characters who struggle with real, human flaws. So, what makes a character real? It's not just what they do, but why they do it, how they move, and even how they think. In this guide, I'm going to show you 6 tricks that will breathe life into your characters. From crafting motivations that go deeper than the surface, to making them speak in ways that feel authentic, you'll learn how to turn every character into someone your audience won't forget. Ready to create characters who jump off the page or screen? Keep reading. Chapter 1: The Invisible Puppet Strings. Crafting real motivations. When you start creating characters, you can't just ask, what do they want? Dig deeper. What is it they really need? Characters driven by deeper, internal needs feel more real. According to a study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, people often make decisions based on subconscious desires rather than logical reasoning. Apply that idea to your characters. Let their motivations emerge from something hidden, like fear or unresolved trauma. For example, a character who constantly pushes people away might not just be rude, but subconsciously afraid of being abandoned. Their actions stem from a deeper emotional trigger. Remember, humans are complicated, and your characters should be too. In The Art of Character, David Corbett talks about how understanding a character's hidden motivations can completely change the story. It's these deeper motivations that transform a character from flat to complex. Build your character's motivations like an iceberg. The real reasons are beneath the surface, only revealed slowly as the story progresses. Chapter 2: The Quirky Mirror. Giving characters their own flaws. Perfect characters are hard to believe. If a character doesn't have flaws, they might seem more like a superhero than a real person. A study by Dr. John Gottman, a relationship expert, shows that the most successful relationships are built on honesty and the acceptance of flaws. Your characters need flaws that make them relatable. These flaws don't have to be huge. They can be something as simple as always misplacing their keys or obsessively checking the time. Just like you and me, characters can be insecure, messy, or even selfish at times. It's these imperfections that make them memorable. Think of characters like Don Draper from Mad Men. His charm is undeniable, but it's his flaws, his inability to truly connect with others, that makes him unforgettable. In Story, Robert McKee emphasizes that flaws show a character's humanity, making them more accessible to the audience. Without flaws, a character just doesn't feel real. So, give your characters flaws that are genuine and meaningful to their story arc. Chapter 3: Silent Conversations. Body language and the unsung dialogue. A character's body language can say more than words. In fact, studies show that non-verbal cues make up over 70% of communication. That means how a character moves, stands, or avoids eye contact speaks volumes about their emotional state. If your character is always fiddling with their clothes or tapping their fingers nervously, it can hint at anxiety or discomfort. In the definitive book of body language, Alan and Barbara Pease argue that body language communicates more truth than what a character says. You don't need to spell out every emotion in dialogue. Instead, let the subtle shifts in posture or a glance across the room do the work. It's the little details that make a character feel like they've lived a full life before they even speak. The best storytellers understand that the silence between words carries meaning. Take a look at how characters in films like The Godfather or The Silence of the Lambs communicate power and tension through simple gestures, not just words. It's these non-verbal moments that bring them to life. If you want more tips on creating memorable characters, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for future updates and strategies. Chapter 4: From the Inside Out. Building a rich inner world. Think about your character's inner world. What do they fear? What are their dreams, regrets, or even childhood memories? Characters are more than just their actions. They are shaped by their inner thoughts and beliefs. According to a study by the University of California, Berkeley, people's self-reflection plays a huge role in how they behave and interact with the world. So, why should your characters be any different? Let your characters think deeply about their own actions. Maybe your character struggles with imposter syndrome, questioning their worth at every turn. These inner conflicts make them feel human. As George R.R. Martin writes in A Game of Thrones, a character is not a character until you know what they want, and what they fear. Let your character's past experiences and hidden fears influence their decisions. If a character has suffered a major loss, it will shape how they see the world and react to future challenges. Dive deep into their psyche and make it as rich and complex as you would your own mind. Chapter 5, The Reality Check. Make your characters adapt to their world. A character shouldn't just exist in a vacuum, they need to adapt to the world around them. The way a character interacts with their environment tells you a lot about them. If a character lives in a chaotic, war-torn world, they should behave differently than a character in a peaceful, structured society. According to the Harvard Business Review, people adjust their behaviors based on their surroundings, so should your characters. Look at the Hunger Games. Katniss Everdeen's survival instincts were honed by her harsh environment. The environment should shape a character's actions and mindset. A character raised in wealth might approach problems differently than someone who grew up in poverty. In The Writer's Journey, Christopher Vogler says that a character's journey is always influenced by their external world, and that environment can become as much a character in itself. Don't make the mistake of giving your character traits that don't match the world they live in. The more your character adapts, the more believable they become. Chapter 6, Voice with Soul. Crafting unique dialogue. Dialogue is an essential part of character development, but it's more than just having characters talk. It's about giving them a unique voice that feels true to who they are. In fact, according to the dialogue, Learning the Craft of Character, Robert McKee explains that great dialogue reveals what a character wants and what they fear without them saying it outright. The way a character speaks should reflect their personality, background, and experiences. Does your character speak in short, clipped sentences, or do they ramble? Maybe they use formal language, or perhaps they're more casual. Whatever their voice is, make sure it aligns with who they are. Characters who speak differently from one another, even in subtle ways, make the world feel fuller. A study by the University of Toronto shows that people's speech patterns are often influenced by their social status and environment. Use this to your advantage when crafting dialogue. For example, in The Catcher in the Rye, Holden Caulfield's language is full of slang and frustration, which gives readers a window into his troubled soul. Give your characters dialogue that feels like it was pulled from their very being, not just words they say to move the plot forward. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more writing secrets to make your characters unforgettable.